Got XL versus Galaxy Racer now. XL specifically, and I'm going to quote Hatrix, looking for redemption versus Galaxy Racer.
Can I quote him too?
Yeah.
He said the performance so far has been cringe.
I mean,
I'll agree on that one as well.
I mean, it's been a bit cringe.
Yep. 100% agree. I think they haven't yet found their footing. Marcoon seems completely out of it. He hasn't necessarily found a way to impact the game the same way as he did on the Nidalee, Hecarim, Graves meta. I think it's time to go back to the basics, go back to the Volibear. I think it's a very easy champion to ease yourself back into the meta, try to find the openings, try to find the ganks while also ganking in the front line, creating opportunities for your team. I think it's something that Elyoya tweeted as well. He's like, well, I stacked on the Rumble, back on Volibear duty, won 2 games in a row, GG well played. So yeah, I think BDXL have just to go back to basics, back to comfort, and then slowly but surely found the way that they want to play the game in this meta.
Yeah, I completely agree, because I feel like a lot of the compositions they've been struggling with have been ones with high execution threshold. And I don't say that BTXL shouldn't be picking these compositions, but when things are going wrong outside of just, being able to execute on those picks, you want to simplify it down, make it easier, go back to the basics, and then hopefully be able to come out with some strong results, because they are not clear for making playoffs. There is still a chance that they don't make playoffs with their current standing, because it's only 3 slots per group. And I don't think they can sort of sit back and just rely on, oh, of course we're going to make playoffs. We're one of the academy teams.
No, I think you've hit the nail on the head there, Orcs. I think realistically, it's not even just a chance. It's like a relatively good chance right now that they sit outside that top 3 if their performances go the way that they have been. I mean, they've lost to opposition that you would have last split said is almost unlosable for them, just in terms of those names involved.
The whole split was kind of unlosable for them.
Well, yeah, exactly. I
mean, they came off as EU Masters finalists. And I mean, the expectation was that they would dominate. And anything less would be a bit underwhelming, and this has been even lower level than that, so a lot to be desired so far.
I think we've just got a draft restart here. I'm getting the impression from the way our overlay has gone is that we had a quick jump out of draft and hopefully get back into it ASAP. I think we've harped on about it a lot, and I don't mean to, because I do genuinely, I think XL obviously have come from a very different meta at the European Masters, maybe a meta where they felt they were stronger in, and coming into what has been one of the biggest meta shifts that we've seen interseasonally in League of Legends. Teams have got to play catch up in that sense, but I think it's okay to hold them to a high standard, and I'm happy to hold them to a high standard because of their pedigree.
Honestly, I'll agree with you. And if anything, I've been an advocate for Marcoon. Talked about him in the LEC. I've been always like, Marcoon MVP, because he was so creative last split. And I thought that with all the jungle changes and the timers being a little bit inflated, it allows you for that time to make plays, to be creative, to get your laners ahead. And it feels like he works better under pressure when the timers are shorter, and he's like, oh shoot, I have to make the play, and then I have to go to my camps because I need to reset them real quickly for the level 2s and level 3s. Whereas now that you have the time to not only clear your camps, but to make plays, but to choke out the enemy jungler, but to put down the vision, to create opportunities for your lanes, go bot, go mid, go top, play the Javas, play the Volibears, play the Sinsaos, play something more aggressive and creative. It feels like the pressure off of him has sort of put him on a standstill, and I just really want to see this player shine. It's not just him. I feel like Hatrix has been a little bit underwhelming, if you will, or Rome has been a little bit underwhelming. Like the entire roster doesn't seem to be on their feet right now, and I really hope they wake up really soon, because if anything, if you're a BDXL fan, you're expecting them to go back into the EU Masters this split, and be even stronger than the last one.
Yeah, and especially when you look at the competition, obviously, with the fact that K-Corp lost their top laner, XL have maintained the same roster. They should be looking to beat out their last result. And just going to the sort of discussion you had about the jungle changes, I feel like that shift maybe makes it so having really efficient, ideal pathing isn't necessarily as much as an advantage before, because the opposing jungler isn't sort of on that strict timer. So if they do take a bit more time to help their lanes, if they take a bit more time in their clear, Marcoon isn't necessarily getting as much of an advantage as he was last split, which may be where he's not able to make quite as much of an impact. And I think when I look at the rest of the roster, Arome was an absolute monster in EU Masters. So far the split, he's had good performances, but also some which I wasn't too convinced on. And I think Hatrix has really just looked a bit weak so far. I think out of all the players, he's probably the one who's looked kind of the weakest this summer split. obviously had some great performances in the Masters. So really, I think that entire top side of the map I'm looking at to sort of perform better, because I think Advian's actually been doing a great job so far.
Yeah, I think it's an interesting discussion point about hat tricks, because for him, I think this meta is about defining his identity, like trying to find out what he wants to do as a mid lane role. We've had discussions with people within, kind of commentating on the NLC as a whole, and people have said, well, hat tricks used to be a facilitating mid laner, like really just kind of played for his team, would set his team up pretty heavily, played a lot of the Gallios, a lot of the roaming kind of junglers, so mid laners. But then at European Masters, we saw him come into his own, back onto the assassin types that he was kind of known for back in Spain. Had some really big Akali performances after a couple of relatively disappointing ones to start European Masters off. He had some really good ones towards the latter half of it, and would even argue that he was the carry role for the team. So yeah, I think there's a lot of defining for him this split, trying to figure out where he sits in the meta. I think Trouble's talked about it. I think Marcoon has got some things that he needs to work on, again, defining his style of jungler. I think Arome's been okay. I don't get me wrong. I think Arome's been solid, and I actually think, I agree with you, I think Deadly and Advian have been decent, especially Advian, I think, has been doing pretty well. But that top side of the map does feel like we need to kind of get them into a better space for XL if they kind of want to pick up where they left off at European Masters.
Okay, so going back to the hat-trick sort of conversation since we opened it, I feel like his biggest demon, if you will, is inconsistency. When hat-tricks is on his day, he's unbeatable. He went into the EU Masters, he gave breathtaking Akali performances. I remember when he came to the NLC from Spain, he had Echo really high up on his list, another playmaking assassin that you can really shine on. And then the Akali comes in, and all of these kind of like pushed him up. I never thought that playing BTXL, he was gonna play the role of special, be the more facilitator, Galio. Yes, he's tried them. Yes, he's done okay on them, but I don't necessarily think that this is hat-tricks. I feel like hat-tricks is more of a playmaker, and he really shines on that. And a lot of times when you have an off day and you're playing the Akalis, you play the Echoes, and it's really hard because you fall behind on a playmaker, on someone that has to roll on in the early game. It just becomes so hard to play the game, and then it sort of like all falls apart. It's that one key that we highlighted also in EU Masters, that he's the key to BTXL success. When hat-tricks doesn't do well, the map falls apart.
I think the thing with having an inconsistent player on a team like BTXL is it's just rough, because we look at BTXL, a Rome can obviously be a massive carry, Deadly can be a massive carry. If Ericsson has a bad game and that ends up losing them the game, then in a lot of situations, XL potentially could have won it with a more consistent mid laner. Whereas if you look at the weaker teams, having a player with high highs and low lows can sometimes be an advantage, because it allows you to make upsets like we saw Dusty have against Fnatic. XL, they have so many lanes they can carry from, and hat-tricks doesn't necessarily need to always be the carry, but when he is costing them games, it's really frustrating to see, because we've seen this high level. We just need him to sort of rein it in and understand that it's not his job to carry in every single draft, in every single game, as much as he can fill that role for the team.
I kind of want to flip the conversation over to Galaxy Racer as well. I'm sorry that we're kind of waiting to get into pick and ban here. I believe someone from Galaxy Racer has an issue with their drafting phase. They can't pick their champions.
Scandal, can you just click the start the game button?
Yeah, I would
have it right next to you.
I know.
You start the game already, Scandal.
Yeah, come on. No one wants to hear us talk. Start the game.
Shh, now, children. Let's talk about Galaxy Racer. The mid laner Tibor, super impressive mid laner for me. I think up there with one of the best newcomers to the NLC. I wouldn't say he's hitting the heights of like Fury, but I think he's like on that borderline where we could really see him become a standout mid lane player, from now and into the future as well. And that mid jungle as well, Jakey and Tibor, a really impressive little duo for Galaxy Racer also.
Yeah, I think those two as a duo are really strong. And as much as Fury looks like the best standalone mid, they may make an argument for the best mid-jungle duo, because I think Jakey does a great job of facilitating his mid laner. He's not necessarily the carrier like we've seen Sharp on his Nidalee, we've seen Sawyer on his Nidalee, where like the lanes play for them. I feel like Jakey's been more of a player where he plays for his laners to facilitate them. And with a mid laner like Tibor, that is absolutely the way you can run it.
And I just really want to take a little bit of the attention down the bot lane, because we've memed Mog so much when he came to the NLC and he played mid lane. We're like, he's using the Kog'Maw passive so freaking well. That's why he always dies. But honestly, he's been a stellar performer in the bot lane. He's back into his main role, and I think it's just such a huge step that they've picked up Wendell Ball to be the shot caller, to be the one that calls whenever they go in, whenever they want to fight, whenever they want to pick a fight down the bot lane. I think it is so important to have, he said it himself, such like a big voice that everyone will listen to every single time. And I think it shows in Galaxy Racer. There's not a lot of indecision when it comes to team fighting, when it comes to picking up, small skirmishes into the jungle, something that's surprising because Wendell will just go for it. Yes, when there's plays like this, it's gonna coin flip, right? Once it will come out well, once it will just fail. But it is these players that are willing to take the chance to cause the upset, especially when you have so much talent on your lineup.
Yeah, I legit thought Orcs was going to say, "Oh, I really love Wendelbo's tower dives." By the way,
I will say that bot lane is probably the most decisive bot lane in Europe. It's just that can backfire massively in some ways. In that game against Fnatic, when Monk dumped in a melee range of Leona, that's a confident play. Not necessarily smart always, but I think they are definitely not a team who will sit back and definitely will look to challenge and look for those aggressive plays. And I think as a shot caller, I think, we're still relatively early in the split. Galaxy Racer are doing decent in terms of standings. I think Wendell is in a position where he can go for those aggressive plays and then learn from them. Okay, that was too far. I went 0-5 that game. Let's rein it back a little bit and find a bit more of a balance. But I think the team seems to have a pretty good dynamic so far, which I think I'm excited to see how it develops over the course of the split, because I think they have a very stable mid jungle and an explosive bot lane who can look for that carry potential.
Yeah, and Monk in the interview yesterday, he said he's his own worst enemy. Like he is the hardest person to overcome, like in terms of getting a good performance out of himself. And so, when he goes into a game feeling confident, when he starts playing well, then that's when the explosion goes the right way. When they start falling a little bit further down, it becomes more of an implosion, and that bot lane starts to struggle. But hey, look, we're still waiting to get this client fixed, guys. So we are going to go to a very short break, but we'll see you soon. like we should be ready to go into draft here. Looks like things were working in a test game the guys have done, so hopefully we can get through that draft phase with no hiccups, and we'll eventually get to see that first pick on Galaxy Racer's blue side, as I know we're all waiting with bated breath. The bans are coming through. Please, Kakan, can you select a champion? That'll be the real test here. So Karma and Nocturne taken away, as we've said, like these bans are going to remain the same. They will be forced to remain the same over the course of this draft. Trying to remember what was left open. Rumble was still open, I think. No, Rumble was banned. No, Rumble was banned. Sorry, I just couldn't remember for the life of me what was left banned.
Remember. I know Rumble was banned.
I think Gwen is open for sure.
Oh, Gwen's open.
Yeah. Viego
first pick. Okay.
I mean, I feel like BTXL could just take Akali is open, obviously, but still have options in terms of an AD carry, still have options in terms of a Gwen. There's a lot of power picks still left up.
I know that Hipperain would love Gwen to get picked because he hasn't got to cast a Gwen game, and for some reason he's really excited to do that. So, come on BTXL. I mean, don't give over Gwen Viego in one draft. That's the main thing.
I mean, technically, it's not that bad if you give them both away. We've seen teams lose, have both of them, as long as they have the means to counter. I like what's happening here because we know that Advin is a big babysit for Deadly. He doesn't necessarily roam too much, and having Thresh, you allow Deadly to play on a more hyper carry style champion. You can go to the likes of Varus, you've got the Jinx, got all this sort of you got the Kog'Maw, all the immobile sort of carries. You also have Akali locked in for your mid lane, and even though I keep on raving about the Volibear, you obviously don't have to pick him on the first rotation because you won't necessarily get banned away.
Looking like a relatively strong draft though for Galaxy Racer right now. Oof. If you were going to have
Ezreal and Gwen.
If you were going to have a top 3, like very strong picks on this patch, Viego, Ezreal, and Gwen would definitely be contesting some of those spots.
I think all three are in the top 5. I'd definitely say. But seen Deadly go back to the Calista, and we've seen quite a bit of this in Korea, where teams are prioritizing the Calista in the bot lane. It has a lot of early pressure, and particularly if you're going to target Ezreal's weakest phase of the game, Calista Thresh is a bot lane that will do that. And now they have the opportunity to ban out potential supports that can cause issues. A lot of people don't like the Thresh into Nautilus matchup, so that's going out the window instantly.
And I wonder if Galaxy Racer are gonna go forward and ban the Volibear because the Zinzao is already out. You sort of need to ban away facilitators for lanes such as the Zinzao, where he can play very aggressive, create opportunities. Because yes, Gwen and Viego are extremely strong, but they're also extremely volatile in the early game when you're pulling up ganks on them, and you definitely don't want to have a fed Akali, you definitely don't want to have a fed Kalista in the early game if you're Galaxy Racer. So I wonder if indeed this is gonna be the next ban here, unless they want to ban something for the Udyr. I also forgot the Udyr. I really like this from Galaxy Racer because they are now forcing Markoon, if he wants to play for ganks, he has to lock in the Volibear.
I feel like Udyr
do it, baby.
Hasn't as
Give
much priority on this patch, so I think Volibear makes complete sense. You have 2 really strong lanes you can play towards. It puts a Roam in the position where he has that last pick counter pick. I think, he knows obviously that he's probably going to be up against the likes of something like the Gwen or the Viego, but you get a bit more identity on what the draft is going to have.
Well, the Hecarim comes through. Haven't seen a Hecarim in quite some time. He's going to get locked in for Galaxy Racer for Shaky in the jungle. We'll see where Vendible chooses to go with his support pick. He was waiting quite a long time to bring that one through. Unlikely it's Blitzcrank. Alistair is something that we have seen quite a decent amount of. I wouldn't be surprised. It's relatively okay into Thresh here. So
I like Alistair here because into Calista is really effective. A lot of skill shot champions struggle with the dashes. Alistair is targeted essentially, so easy knockup. It's good again against the Akali. Hecarim is another thing that's going to cause issues because it's very hard to kite. And although Hecarim did get pushed out the meta by some heavy nerfs, he's steadily being buffed back up again. And with Divine Sundra, his AD build, like AD Bruiser, is pretty strong. So this is a really strong front line that will cause a lot of issues for BTXL, on top of an Ezreal who obviously scales really well in the current meta. The BTXL, though, they have now the Silas for hat tricks. They have these big AP threats. I think this is really going to come down to who sets the pace in the early game.
I love this. This is literally a skill check from both teams. The Gwen, the Viego, the Sylas, the Akali, the Kalista down the bot lane, the Hecarim. I think this is skill check versus skill check. Whoever manages to play their lanes better is going to come out ahead on that, because every single laner, every single solo laner is very snowbally. Every single one of them. So whichever jungler manages to set up their laners better, I think is going to come out ahead. So it's going to be a JG versus Makoon who can get their solo laners ahead faster.
It just feels this is going to be an absolute bloodbath as well.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Like these team fights are going to go like all over the place. And my only worry for BTXL is I think if they put one foot wrong, like the Galaxy Racer team can absolutely pop off. Like Viego resets, Gwen can be really like a big nuisance, and with all the CC coming through from their team, like the Galaxy Racer team as well, it just feels like XL have to play this pitch perfect in some ways. But I think they can snowball harder with the Kalista, right? You can play through bot. And I think you can snowball that harder a little bit. So. I think that's maybe where we try and see them work through the early game. But look, this is exciting. We're excited from the draft. I know HitBrain is excited. So we're going to hand over to him and Gulborg for this game.
I am absolutely buzzing, mate. I am so excited to get into this game. We have a bloodbath up for this game. I mean, Gulborg, you can't see the summoner spells, but I can tell you, both Kakan and Arome have Ignite TP. We're in for an absolute bloodbath of a game. I'm also glad we get to see the return of the Hecarim. I spoke to Jumana a little bit about it over the last week, and he's saying, well, the changes to Divine Thunder are now being kind of a broken item. It was kind of only a matter of time till we started to see Hecarim show up again. So, I mean, what do you make of these comps? What are you liking here? What are you disliking?
Yeah, I'd like to touch what you just said on Hecarim. I think he's like... not sleeper broken, but sleeper undervalued a lot. He did also have some buffs onto his Q with extra AD scaling as well with percentages. So obviously going for the Divine Thunder is also going to help you in that regard. I think it's going to be really exciting. I think that in terms of a game plan, it might take a while before Galaxy Racer really does get there online. I know we talk a lot about power picks like the Gwen, like the Viego, but quite frankly, you are waiting a bit for them to actually pick up that first item, at least with Gwen. Viego does have some good skirmishing potential, but from the side of BTXL, I expect them to mostly be playing for Deadly on that Kalista.
I think it's... Unfortunately, sorry, I was just... double checking what's going on. We have had a light pause.
Oh no.
Purely a video setting thing, so it will literally take a couple of seconds. Thank God for that. No, maybe. I don't know. No, I'll find out. I've because you haven't got the game on your screen. I do, so I can see the chat. So it looks like everything's fine. So should be getting ready to go. No, don't worry, our mouse has now died. This game is so doomed. It's taken... I can't believe a mouse battery has died. It's been a task to get into this game, but I promise you guys at home that the reward is worth the wait. I mean, we've got Ignite TP top lane, we've got Akali versus Gwen top lane. I am not overly familiar on how the Gwen Akali matchup goes, so factor in they both have Ignite and no flashes. Gulborg, how does this go?
Yeah, I haven't really seen it. Knowing what Gwen's matchups are incredibly hard to understand, since we don't actually see the champion. It's literally permaban. I will say though, I think it's to the point where it's a bit extensive. I feel like a lot of these counter matchups are really never really found out. People are not really giving it the chance to actually kind of find out what really shuts him down. I know Aramne in NLC talked a bit about how he thinks Nocturne into Gwen is really good lane. Gwen can't do anything, you just punish her. So I wonder with a melee matchup like the Akali, if that is gonna go just as well, because theoretically speaking, Gwen can still snip when Akali is in Shroud. But it's about hitting it. So I think it's going to be interesting. I think it's going to be very interesting.
I think it is. I'm thinking about, like, obviously the Harrowed Path. No, the Hallowed Mist.
Exactly.
The ability where you don't take damage if someone's not in there with you, basically. It's gonna. There's not really too much that Arome's not gonna be countered by on that one. So it's kind of that ability won't be as useful there, but obviously it would deal with things like Deadly. We did see our one Gwen of this tournament come out, and it was like shockwaves going on and just taking 0 damage. So it's a really irritating champion. I'm kind of looking over like what they've got on the side of XL that really will worry about the about the the mist from Kakan.
Blah,
Actually,
blah,
that's
blah,
not
blah,
deadly. Not really much. That's going to be problematic there.
Yeah, of course. It does give her extra resistance though, so
Yes,
that
it
is
does,
one
true.
thing to factor into it. And she's really good at cutting down tanks. I think that's genuinely how her kit works, is that she can get busy killing your front line while the back line can't really do damage to her. So essentially how I saw her in the beginning was she was very much a Darius-esque AP bruiser instead, because she's melee, she's about cutting down tanks, she can deal true damage. But she ended up just being incredibly powerful and just one-shotting everyone. So quickly, read it. You don't have much time.
Oh, Galaxy Racer support Wendelbo was part of the all-Danish Riddle esports team.
Oh my god.
But
Oh my
finished the
god.
NLC in summer 2020 as runnner-ups and made the EU Masters. What? Oh my godding.
Wow, just that Riddle roster. What a nice flashback. You know, all Danish Riddle roster. MasterCard, that was the best insight you've ever given to me. Thank you very much.
You hit him with the nostalgia, bro. Alrighty, well, we're on to the Rift finally. Apologies about the delay. We are very late in going into this game, but we are finally into the game at the least. And XL are going for an invade. They're going to spot this ward out with the sweeper. And I'd actually like to see them give it to Okay, they just share it between everyone. But I would like to have seen them give it to Hatrix and give them that early kind of experience, as Jakey just getting a little bit of bonus damage off, as Monk also going for a poke. And it's just going to be an invade to start out by XL. As Kakan is going to skip into the lane.
It actually gives the same amount of experience when you share a ward.
Oh, it does. Okay. Ignore
Okay,
me.
well, that was some good trading from Kakan,
Oh.
though. You can kind of see him work with the extra range you get from the E-start there. So good trading. Pot's been burned as well, but you can actually see he started out with Dorrance as well. Some extra AD in those exchanges, and obviously does get some Omnivamp to work with as well that Gwen benefits heavily from. And we're on to a split map situation. Late raid from the side of Akun is going to make sure that he can pick up that red buff, and meanwhile Jakey is on the other side of the map, but he is spotted out on a ward, so everyone knows what's going on right here. But
He's
down in the
being
bottom,
chased.
what?
Markoon is being chased out of the jungle by Monk and Wendell, and actually, that is a net positive for the side of Galaxy Racer, slowing down Markoon's clear, but now they're moving multiple members over. The hook is going to be flanked by Monk, just able to avoid all of that. At the end of the day, Flash now down on the Ezreal will obviously get that E in the next level, so it has a little bit of safety to work with, and this means Markoon doesn't get a full red side clear, but Jakey will be able to get a full red side clear. So we'll actually pull ahead in CS, and you can see the CS deficits between the two junglers now. This pony ain't going to slow down anytime soon.
No, and it's crucial you can get ahead of it in the beginning as well, because holy, all right. Well, some of the strengths that are with the Hecarim jungle right now is that, dude,
It's just a lot of damage.
good. Hatrix does have TP, so he can pick up this wave and just recall and then back off. Cyber, no ignite either, so I don't think he's got lethal right now. God needs to be a bit careful though, because Rome does have an ignite for himself, but does really see himself favoring in that trade. And as I talked about, really, like Hecarim, it is just about getting that Divine Sunder. When you really get that item, that's when you start to feel broken again.
Yes, absolutely. See, Kakan goes in for a quick snip onto Rome just to get a nice little trade off. It is a very high top lane. These two are fighting a lot right now. And remember, both have ignite, both have kill pressure on one another. I actually think a good Shuriken flip, but Remy could probably kill Kakan because it's a long lane for Kakan when he's got no flash. But Kakan feeling pretty comfortable with this map split to be able to play this fairly aggressively, knowing that Markoon's not in the area, and he is. But Markoon is coming in to this mid lane, although Jakey's about and will spot him out. Tibbet now needs to be a little bit careful as he goes in for the stun to get the bot back onto Markoon. Markoon taking a lot of damage here. Gets the shield off for the moment. Jakey's going low. The flash comes down. His first blood picked up for Hatrix, and Tibbet now in for a whole lot of trouble. Tibbet goes forward for the dash. It's a double for Hatrix.
Had he gotten the reset, that could have been an entirely different situation, but it's crucial that Hatrix had back TP'd, had better items, and Tibber hadn't been onto base to reset yet, so they didn't really have the damage to pull that off, so bit of an advantage going off to that side there. Oh no, this is looking very bad.
Rome, you could just chase here. Not got the flash, isn't going to try and Shuriken flip backwards, so Kakan's going to be able to survive this little trade, and will make his way back towards that top lane with his teleport. But a great trade there in the mid lane as we actually have a look at it again.
Yeah, and Macoon good flash here to actually get outside of this one here in the beginning as well. It looked like they were going to get the kill onto them, and I think they thought that as well. But Tibbo with the flash Q just outside of range, and now with the Q on cooldown, not able to get that last kill in the top side of the map. I actually think Aromi could have killed him as well, but Hatrix at level 6 now.
Jakey's coming in. Hatrix has got the Heartbreaker, and he's able to dash away to safety. Jakey! That was a mad lad play, if ever I've seen one, as Hatrix has got the Kingslayer, so we'll just heal up thanks to Jakey. Jakey's actually just going to help Tibby shove the wave in here, I think. And Hatrix still has that Heartbreaker. He's going in for the reset. Tibby going to get caught out, and he's got the Heartbreaker. He's got the follow-up. Hatrix just solo killing Tibby with his jungler about.
And that is going to be Hatrix's third kill of the game, 5 minutes into it. He is so strong right now, Jake.
My predictions are not looking great right now, mate. I am 0 for 4 at the moment. 0 for 3 at the moment, but closing on 0 for 4.
Well, you know, it can still go either way. There's a lot of strong champions on the side of Galaxy Racer, and they need to scale a bit.
True, yes. They do need some time. There's a lot of strong champions on the side of XL, though, as well. We got this Akali. Some of it has been so highly contested recently. And Hatrix with a 2-level lead over Tibby right now. Tibby just unable to really do too much here.
Oh dear, that is horrible.
Sit and watch the wave slowly melt away. Jakey also being a little bit careful as Arome has now got 6. Kakan also got that needlework available to him, so can look for a little bit of something here. So they're actually going to jump in here. Puts down the hallowed path and he's able to dodge away in a little bit.
Does actually get the benefit of that trade, and I'm starting to think that matchup, at least laning phase, is a bit Akali favored. It most certainly looks like it, and with all the pressure on the map, BTXL does pick up the Drake very easily, so nothing wrong with that one there.
And that's a lot of damage. When you get the snip charged up and you get all stacks, it actually does a lot of damage. You can see jumping in, puts down the Hallowed Mist just to keep himself alive, but there's the ulti coming in. The needleworks come out from Kakan. He's got the snip, he ignites it down, and Kakan's going low. Tries to snipe. Almost get it there, but the cannon will finish him up, but the cannon finishes him up as well. A 1-for-1 in the top lane as action looks to break out, but Jakey still not level 6, only just hits it off the ward, and Hatrix had his charge before him. Looks like we might see a little bit more breaking out here. Monk got the flash available as Markings are going to chase in. They're just going to look to try and take him away. The hook comes in, lands onto the cow. Hatrix goes in for the charge, and Wendell will be sacrificed. 4 members of XL on the bottom side of the map, and they're able to find their kill. 1 for 5 on the scoreboard right now. XL looking to find their form, finally return to them.
Yeah, man, my bets are that Hatrix is going to pick up this Medjay this time around. 4 kills already, 8 stacks onto the Dark Seal, and we get to see the top side of the map here. Really just an awesome moment between two of these champions that are so highly debated around this patch, really.
Yeah, that final needlework sealed the deal. Like, without that, it would have been so close. Jakey just ghosted. Huh. Okay, well, Jakey ghosted, and it doesn't help him recall any quicker, but he will be back to base now. Dragon was secured by the side of BTXL, and Arome now zoning Kakan off. Kakan not feeling quite there. The Leeching Lair has been finished up for Arome. Kakan obviously building towards that Nash's Tooth as the next item.
There also is a difference between the ultimate cooldown, so you can see Needlework still needs a bit of time to actually come off cooldown, but you take a look onto Akali and Perfect Execution. Already available. Yeah, it's actually going to be interesting to see if that second item is going to be the Nash's Tooth. That's actually very much an EU thing. Towards the LPL and LCK, they go for Cosmic Drive instead.
Interesting. Jakey being zoned off his own frog. That's got Kakan in the air, but Hatrix is just everywhere on the map, and Hatrix will be now seen on the ward, so Galaxy Racer probably looking just to call this one off. And that's a massive wave denied from Kakan. He's unable to do anything. Advian and Hatrix just roaming around support mid-duo, and it's just setting up all this success in these side lanes while Tibbet unable to really match or do anything about this.
You're completely right, Jake. And it also comes down to that they don't need to get any kills here. They just need to force Kakan away from the turret. The fact that he's not able to see us is just going to benefit Rome even more. So every time they have priority, they can go for this little play. They can just move on to a side lane and force that laner to just back off the wave.
Patrick's jumping in, but the rest of the team are coming in. They're looking for the lockdown. Can they find it? He steals away the Alistar ult, gets the Lantern to safety. The True Shot Barrage barely tickles Hatrix. This is... I'm amazed we're finally seeing Fresh again, because it has been permabanned. And then today, it's just like teams have forgotten about it, and it just keeps showing up. The Lantern's such a powerful tool, and Advian might be finding himself the receiving end of Wendell, but not going to be the case for now, as Marcoon's coming in with a Lantern. They're looking to knock them up. They're charging in, though. The fight is on. The bot back, and it's already numbers advantage for the side of Galaxy Racer. The heart is broken by Tibbet, but here comes Hatrix, throwing the Lantern to get Jakey out of there, but now they're on the wrong side of the map. Tibbet lands the hook, lands the flay, gets jumped onto instantly, tries to jump the wall with the Heartbreaker, but Hatrix comes in and seals the deal with the abscond, abduct, one of the two, able to take it away.
And they're just so damn fed, right? It was a good situation here from the side of the Galaxy Racer. They tried to get a good pick off here, tried to get something back into this game, but TP's coming through. No Ghost either.
He's 5-0. He's 5-0. He's 6-0.
Yeah, I was going to say he's 6-0.
Hatrix is massive right now, as Kakan's getting jumped onto. Rome maybe feeling it. He's got that ignite. The snip comes out into the needlework. Here comes Wendell. They're trying to land a bit more damage, and snip. Rome is cut down. Looking good with that new haircut.
Yeah, nice little roam there. I kind of want to take it back. You know, early on the desk today, Orcs was talking about Hatrix really. A lot of times he just needed to sit back and let his team carry. He didn't always need to have a pop-up performance. Well, it seems like he felt like he really did anyway, and just wanted to really show off what he's made of this game. 6-0, as you said yourself, 10 stacks onto Orthodoxy, and
Jakey's dead.
Looking to up it.
I don't think there's anything more to add to that. Jakey is dead. This
I really want him to play Medjay. It'd only be appropriate after all the pauses that we've had to try and get us back on schedule.
Put us back on schedule, XL. Galaxy Racer, what do they need to do now? What's kind of their win con? Because it just feels like if XL continue to play this snowballing and aggressive, their win con's fairly obvious to us. But what is it that Galaxy Racer need to do?
Well, unfortunately for us, Galaxy Racer needs to make this game a snooze fest. They need to stop. They need to stop handshaking these plays. Like, just let XL set up and go for their setups, and then just respect it. Just attack a side lane when they're moving multiple members over to arm. Keep the cross map going, and make sure you're still getting gold, because
Kakan's feeling it.
They cut that off.
He's got Jakey coming in, gets the snip off, but Arome able to buy some space, and Ultimate's not quite available, but Kakan does have that, not Rift Maker, the first part, Leeching Leer. So it does have a little bit of sustain to work with. Same for Arome, though.
But yeah, as I said, you just want to slow the game down. You want to cut off these plays. But it's just so hard to do when you're this far behind in the early game. Quite honestly speaking with you, Jake, it comes down to Hatrix possibly making a mistake and giving over that shutdown, because he's 1,000 gold worth. You get that onto the Gwen, you get that onto the Viego, you might have a shot at this game again. But honestly, right now, XL needs to make a mistake for Galaxy Racer to really come back into this one. They're already 6k down.
It's interesting as well, because we were really singing the praises of Jakey before the game started today. Well, before the show started today. You know, he's been a good jungler, and this has not been a great performance from him. As Wendell looking to set up on to Deadly here. Kakan comes in with a needlework, and this is the headbutt pole. Deadly flashes away, but the ignite is on. Kakan sticking to him like butter, trying to cut him through. A lot of damage coming out from Kakan. One more skip and slash. One more lantern as the true shot finds the shutdown. But here comes the Goon Squad. They're looking for the lockdown. They're looking for the chains, as Hatrix is legendary.
Can he buy a Medjay? Oh, he's already got the Medjay. 14 stacks. Perfect. I am pretty sure we'll get him to 25 stacks. I think I've read this chapter before.
A book joke. Good one.
Thank you.
I wish over a new page though and look at it's a new leaf. Anyway, Dragon. Not gonna get for another 3 minutes. I'm just quickly moving on. My brain is fried.
You just looked on the map there and was like, what's the first thing I'm going to see? You saw Drake time and you're like, all right, let's talk about Dragon. With 3 minutes
man, honestly, that pause is done something to me, apparently.
Oh, yeah, I agree. I need to get my blood flow going after this game as well.
Go do some
Just
sit-ups.
No, I got my vaccine
Work on that
yesterday.
core, boy.
I can't really. I got my vaccine yesterday, and my whole body is entirely.
You can do sit-ups anyway. Hatrix has found Wendell, and I think Wendell might just be one juicy beef burger as he flashes away to safety, and Kakan trying to save his support. They get the headbutt, they get the pole. Kakan's trying to get the gold funneled into him, but the ultimate from the Alistair Hatrix has stolen away. It's just too much, and they're not able to do any damage to him, even with the help of the tower. Deadly now working away on this mid lane turret. We are 15 minutes in, by the way, as Advian goes for Hex Flash over the wall.
Have you got your first vaccine shot yet?
I can't hear you, mate.
Have you got your first vaccine shot yet?
Mine is next Friday.
Oh, okay. Because then I was going to tell you, you get that, and you tell me you can do sit-ups. Okay, your muscles.
I'll do some sit-ups.
Really sore. All right,
How long has
I
it
want
been?
a video on that.
How long has it been?
Yesterday.
Oh, it was yesterday. Oh, yeah, I'll be up to it after.
Okay, we'll take a look at that later. Now, right now, Rome is tooling out with Kakan, but you know that perfect execution can just be used as a disengage tool as well.
Yeah, he's able to get away. Although Kakan might look for him here. Has got the old skip and slash and can go for the interrupt. Arome gets caught. Hands the Shuriken flip. No ultimate available to Arome or Kakan. Ignite available to Arome, though. It looks like they're just going to handshake and walk away. Riftmaker on Kakan means he feels a little bit more comfortable as the second Rift Herald will get picked up by BTXL. And we are 16 minutes in. We are 2 mid lane towers down. We are 4 turrets down in total.
Yeah, and a good 8,000 gold lead for BTXL as well. 1 minute now till Drake. If you're asking me how Galaxy Racer want to contest this one, I am not sure, Jake. I really don't see a world where they're going to be able to do that.
I think it's going to have to be one hell of a fight and a bit of a fumble. If they can shut Hatrix down at the beginning, maybe, because he is a lot of their gold lead right now.
Yeah.
Deadly does have the Immortal Shield bow, so he's pretty strong. And Jakey, level 9 to level 12, as Hatrix looks to catch him out. But in comes Wendell for the knockup. They're trying to get a bit of damage off as he gets the charge away. The charge comes in, and here comes Timmer. Can he find the Heartbreaker? Stopwatch is being used, the Lantern's there. The True Shot Barrage is big. Hatrix trying to jump away to safety. He has to go for the flash. Great Lantern is going to be enough. Kakan's coming in on the flank. Jump through the wall. They look to jump as that will be the end of their Kakan. The hairdresser's down.
And you can clearly tell Hatrix there, he was way too overconfident. He should have died there. He straight up disrespected Galaxy Racer, nothing more than that. But they get away with it. He gets the stopwatch. Actually, it's Sonya's Hourglass now. He gets out with the Lantern once again. And now Rift Herald has been popped as well. It's just a tough situation for Galaxy Racer, really.
Yeah, they're getting the second charge. They're getting the next tower. They're actually going to get the charge onto the inhibitor as well. No one's even close to being able to contest it. Bot lane inhibitor will go down to BTXL. We're 17 minutes in. Blazing in on 18 as Wendell hasn't got the flash, so can't chase for an engage onto the XL lineup. Dragon is still up, so XL can just retreat and go for that. And it just feels doomed, to be honest, unfortunately.
Looking for cross map here, but Orome's already respected it. I think he's just out of there. Yeah. Look at Hatrix though. Hatrix is he's cheesing up a little bit in that bush. He want to go for more kills. He wants to get that 25 stacks onto the Medjais on the other side of the map.
Well, they have found him with a stun. Gets the Everfrost off, and Jakey, no ultimate available. Hatrix has the Alistair ult, so it's not enough. They're not going to be able to kill him.
Oh, damn. Yeah, and even so, he does also have that Sonya's Hourglass, so it needs to be a bit careful though here. There's a lot of members around him.
Yeah, they're going to pop him back, actually. But remember, he does have the Alistair ult. Kingslayer keeps him up for the moment. Gets a bit of resistances off on the alley ult stolen away. It's healing up a lot, though, as in comes Monk. Hatrix goes gold, and the rest of XL are coming in. The True Shot is there. The knockout's there. The shutdown for Monk has been picked up. And now
this is scary.
Getting engaged onto. They pull a couple of members in. The charge comes down, and Jakey jumps onto Deadly. But they pull him back. Here comes more. Here comes the knockup. Here comes the turnaround. Galaxy Racer stealing form after form. Finding opening after opening as Timmy lands the hook. Markun's locked down. XL are just wiped as it's a double kill. Picked up onto the Viego. Kakan and Arome going for a fight. The Knights are going down, and Arome will come out on top.
And out of nowhere, we just get all the action in the world we could have wished for here. Baron not up yet, still 40 seconds, but had that happened a bit later, would have been a great. But Hatrix, really, he's very disrespectful this game. There is no reason for him to be here, even with the Alistair ultimate. And you can see the rest of his team, they're doing everything they can to come in and try and save him here. At the end, flashing as well. Knockup is ready for Vendelbo though. And even though Deadly healed, it's not going to be enough. And here's the thing with Viego. Hatrix is so damn fat. So when Tipo finally stole him with the Viego, he just dealt so much damage.
And it was a great hook as well with the stolen fresh form. Able to set them up for a kill on Marcoon. And all of a sudden, you now have a very, very fed Monk. Meanwhile, in the top lane, Kakan, it was close. It looked like it was close, but then Akali. And that's the long and short of it, unfortunately. As we come out of the replay, Wendell able to dodge away on a hook and a flay. And I'd like to take this moment just to quickly look at the individual golds, because we haven't really done too much of that. So mid lane, 4,000 gold up. It's 3,700. Yep, 3,000. No,
there's no leading members anywhere.
There's a lot. At least though, Monk was able to pull himself back. He's only 1,300 gold down to Deadly, thanks to the fact he got that 1,000 shut down. He got 3 kills. You can see how far he was behind prior to that though. And XL now setting up for the Baron.
They're not just setting up for it, they're just straight up starting it. And I think they just want to turn onto the fight when they can. Remember, they're still 8,000 gold ahead.
Kakan. Gonna get found out by a Romeo though. He's coming over the wall. Monk's looking for him and Kakan looks to jump away. The needlework's there. A Romeo diving and dodging away for the moment as he gets the ulti out. Almost getting the true shot's gonna force him to stop watch as the lantern's used. Tibet puts up the path. Hatrix lands the lockdown as the charge over the wall by Jakey to safety. Advian gets poked out so hard by God Monk. And Baron is back on the cards for XL, but the health bars are low, but it's the same business for the side of Galaxy Racer, and I think they've given it up, but the Baron is still going on, and Galaxy Racer don't have the ability to check. They don't have the true shot barrage. They have to walk in blind, and they've got to deal with the way bot lane. XL are going to get away with murder here.
Is it really murder? I feel like this is just like picking a check in the bank. Like they kind of just earned this for their hard work coming into this one. Gold lead is absolutely insane, and we're 2 minutes onto the Drake. They're still going to be able to have the Baron buff off for this Ocean Soul. So at this point in time, Jake, I think it's just a matter of time before BTXL will be able to close this one out. Monk did a lot of damage, but they're going to need a miracle for this one. Once again, it's about BTXL slipping up. It's about them making a mistake. If they're not really doing that, it's going to be very hard for Galaxy Racer to come back into this one.
Yeah, it really is. They're just trying to get as much gold funneled in as possible. You got 2 items on your Ezreal to 3 items on Deadly. 1 item on Tibir to 3 items on Hatrix. 1 item on Kakan to 2 items on Aroma. They are just down in every single area, and they got 1 minute until this Ocean Soul comes up with a Baron able to set them up to shove the waves. It feels like Galaxy Racer are going to need another amazing pick, another amazing set of plays to be able to stop this Ocean Soul from going over.
Question is where they're going to find it, because right now BTXL, they're just setting up a standard 1-3-1. They already got the bot lane inhibitor, don't need to put anyone down there. Hatrix alone in the mid lane facilitating that pressure that they need, and the rest of the members, they can't watch up to the turret, but they're trying to go for Hatrix.
Yeah, they're going to get the fear. He gets the own fear himself. The stopwatch, the lantern, everything's used. They're trying to lock him down. They go to the flash. Hatrix is almost there, but he's not able to go down. The needlework secures the shutdown. It's an absolute cluster of a fight.
No way.
As they flash over the wall. Here comes the Rome onto the back line. Everyone's health is so low. Arome dashes through, takes out multiple members, and this is it. This is the fight they need. Advian comes in, and it's a double kill picked up for Marcoon. Monk is the only one left, and he is cut off from his own base as Advian and Marcoon are going to let him reset. They're going to let him get away with it. They've got the waves to work with in the bottom side. They've still got the Baron buff. And it is only Monk alive, as the Lantern will not be necessary. Monk's going to try and hold on to this one, but the Baron buff too big. Jakey is up. Health bars are low. Jakey's going to go in for the charge, but Marcoon going to get denied from jumping onto for the moment as the tower goes down. Tip is coming up in a moment. Same for Kakan. He jumps into the middle of everyone and loses his life. Tower goes down. 23 minutes on the clock, and XL have got what it takes. They have done this. They are trying to find the miracle, but Marcoon will flash away to make sure that he is not going to be going down today. And the Nexus will fall. XL get the win.
And in quite convincing fashion, really. This is something we've missed from this side of XL. We've been doubting them. Are they really looking as good as they did with the European Masters? Obviously not. They're trying to get back to form, and you know what? This is a good first step onto doing that.
Yeah, it really was. I mean, that was the XL we wanted to see. all summer long. And, you know, it's taken 3 weeks to get here. And for now, it's also a consistency thing, because we have seen them be dominant in their wins, but in their losses and in some of their wins as well, they have been a little bit lost, a little bit scattered. But anyway, I'm going to stop rambling because we had a lot of pauses and we need to get ourselves back on track. So we're going to throw to a break, and when we're back, the desk will break down that game. So we'll see you in a moment.